everyone, welcome to my channel. Today I am making my very last Christmas wreath in July. Here I've got this 14-inch wreath frame and I'm showing you the two brackets. And in the top inner two rings, I'm going to be placing one pipe cleaner. So what I'm doing is making my own work wreath. On the two lower rings, I'm going to add two pipe cleaners. So in between each of those brackets is a section, and each section gets 3. And there are 6 sections on this wreath form, and so we'll have a total of 18 pipe cleaners. And if you hear any little munchkins in the background, those are my grandbabies. They're here visiting. So I have this red snowball deco mesh, and I cut it at 30 inches. And I'm just doing the cruffle method where I roll it up a couple times on one end, clip it with a clothespin or whatever kind of clip you have, roll it up the same amount on the other side, and then walk my fingers up in the middle. As I'm pinching it in the center, then I just go ahead and lay that right into a pipe cleaner. And then I take a 10-inch piece, curl it up, and then pinch it in the middle and put it right on top of that same, I'll put it right in that same pipe cleaner. And so that's how one looks. And then I'm just going to do a couple more just so you can see what it looks like in a section. Okay, so I'm about to put that third piece right on top, and then I'm going to do my 10-inch curl and add that to the pipe cleaner as well. And you can see it's already looking pretty full and it looks really nice. So just keep making sure you keep putting those bundles on each of the pipe cleaners until you're all finished. And here's what it looks like with half of it full. Pretty nice and full. Now you don't have to use all the same color deco mesh if you don't want to, but this is just what I had. Now I've got my 14-inch ribbon tails. I have that really cute Santa 2.5-inch block ribbon. And then I have this plaid red 1.5-inch ribbon. And I just pair those and I add a set to each one of the pipe cleaners. Well, let me take that back. I think I cut 16, sorry, I can't make up my mind, 16 tails, and you'll see why in a little while. But I made 16 tails, and then here, I'm doing it again. I just crisscross them a little bit, pinch them in the middle, and then I put it in a V shape, and then I'll put it right into the next pipe cleaner. And I'll do that all the way around until I've got all 16 pieces of my pipe cleaners put in there. Now once I've got them locked in there, I just take my little cutters, and I got those from Amazon. They're really nice. And I just cut it down to about 1/2 inch and tuck that in the back into the deco mesh, and you can't tell any difference. Okay, so here it is with all the ribbon tails in, and it's so pretty. I love it. So I have this really cute sign. Twas the night before Christmas, and I took the jute cord that it came with, and I just replaced it with some pipe cleaners that I stapled on. And I'm just feeding those through the deco mesh and the ribbon to tie it fairly tightly to the wreath form. Now I did get all the deco mesh, the ribbon, the sign, all of those I got from Craft Outlet. The pipe cleaners are from Amazon, and I got the wreath frame from the Dollar Tree. So here I am. I'm just trying to tighten it up a little bit more, and then I'm going to trim off the ends, and like I did on the other side with the ribbon tails, I'm just going to tuck those into the deco mesh. That way nothing gets scratched up by them, and it looks all nice and neat. So now I'm just taking the remaining ribbon, and I went ahead and took it off of the spool just so I would know what I was working with, and I cut them in half because I'm going to actually make 2 different bows. And so I'm going to start with this Santa Claus one and make a 7-inch tail with 6.5-inch loops to begin with. And then I'm just going to do another 7-inch tail. Now I do have this gray ribbon, 1.5 inch, and I got that from Craft Outlet as well, but I got this and thought it would match the sign really well, and it just brings out a little more pop of gray, which I really like. And then I'll go back in with the 3rd ribbon, which is the plaid ribbon that we already used with the ribbon tails. And as I make the bow, I make my loops just a little bit smaller each time. So it starts off at 6.5, then it goes into 6, and then 5.5. And then, so I did have just little bits of the ribbon left, and I didn't want to throw them away, so I thought it would be a good idea to just use them as extra tails in the bow, and I think it worked out perfectly. Look at that. Since I had a 50-yard roll of the gray ribbon, I went ahead and just added a couple of tails and a couple of loops. So once I'm done, I just pull everything off of the bow maker and very carefully try to pinch them together so that they don't slip. And I just add my pipe cleaner on there, holding the ribbon really tight, and then place the pipe cleaner on there, and then holding the pipe cleaner closed tightly, I twist the bow. Then here, all I do is just go back and trim all the ribbon tails. As usual, I do angle cuts on the 1.5 inch ribbon and dovetails on the 2.5 inch ribbon. But however you like, it would be up to you. If you want to do dovetails on all of them, you can. Or if you want to do all of them at an angle, you can. Now I will say I do trim this down a little bit, but then after I put the bow on the wreath, then I go ahead and I do trim up the tails a little bit more if I need to, just so I don't cover up a lot of the wording in the sign. And this is how the wreath turned out. I just love it. I love that 2.5 inch ribbon and the plaid. I think it brings everything together with that gray ribbon as well. I hope you enjoyed the video. You guys have a blessed week.